Quilting itself has a long tradition of storytelling. The manor house was a community asset transfer from Bradford Council. The name says what we are. We're an asset for the community. And so what we try to do is to tell the story of the history of Ilkley and the history of this house. We look to try to do a whole range of things that people will find interesting and informative and fun, and maybe try something they haven't tried before. During the coronavirus lockdown, we went out to our local community and asked them to produce some squares that express their experience of lockdown. And what we've been able to produce from those wonderful squares they've sent us is a lockdown quilt that just tells the story of our town's experience of the lockdown.
It has brought the community together in many ways, but also just to allow people to express their own individual experiences of what COVID has meant to them. And looking at the squares, it's just fantastic. People's imagination and what people have picked up on, it's been so different to everybody. They are creating something of historical value for this town and this area, which will be kept for future generations to look back on.
I've lived in Ilkley for about 50 years, and what made me want to do this was a bit of a void in my life. My beloved mum of 98 years died just before the first lockdown. I spent many happy afternoons just playing, just thinking what mattered most to me with these things. So it was a way of remembering mum. It was a way of recording, I think, what was happening at the time, because this is unprecedented. I also think it's really important to record moments like this in history while it's happening and while it's very raw, because people then have got the emotion that goes with it, rather than just an intellectual insight that comes later.
I'm happy in my own company, normally. I think no way would I have realised I'd have found it as hard as I have. And I actually feel quite proud of myself that I've come this far, actually.
I think it was the uncertainty more than anything. I felt so afraid I didn't want to go out at all, even to walk or exercise, so I just stayed inside to begin with.
Suddenly my life changed overnight, that there was no band rehearsals, no gigs, and there was basically nothing to do.
Zoom has been a very big part of many people's lives, and it's actually got me back in touch with a lot of old friends and people I used to work with in London sort of 20 years ago. We've all sort of got together and we've been having Zoom chats, which some of us have met up, but a lot of us haven't, and that's been fantastic to be able to do that, and we probably would never have done it otherwise.
The best bit about lockdown was being with my family more and spending more time with them.
I thought, well, I really miss playing for people, so I thought I'll set up and record myself playing at home, and I'll send it to people that I thought might like it. I made it in about 15 minutes, I think. I'm not a sewer, I just thought I wanted to do this.
I made way over 50. I ended up losing count of masks for people we knew, people we didn't know, and also for the volunteer bureau. And I put a scrap onto the black. It signified a dark day, difficult day.
I think being based in Ilkley, we've been extremely lucky because of the community, the friends, and the moors and the river. But I think I find that even more precious now than I did to begin with. The colours of the moors and the woodland, with all the walks that I did with all my friends and family, and discovering new little pathways.
The very first time we went down to the allotment, it was complete lockdown. We had no planes flying over. We live on the main A65. There were no cars. We heard nature in a way that we've never heard it before, and it was breathtaking. Hearing birds sing, just being aware of fellow people on the allotment. We could safely distance and still communicate, and became closer because of it. And taking pleasure in the little things, like the birds singing, was something that inspired this one.
So each square, which the individuals have created, is a piece of art which captures their experience of lockdown. And when we bring all those pieces together, we hope what it will do is tell the story from the community's perspective of the lockdown in 2020.
That's fine, but that's very slippery.